Alolan Sandshrews head blades form a dome that resembles an igloo, with his ears specifically shaped like the entrance to one. Alolan Sandslash and its pre-evolution are currently the only Pokemon with the Ice Steel typing. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Alolan Vulpix is the only Pokemon that appears both in its original form and its Alolan regional form, as a Pokeball item. Alolan Ninetales and its pre-evolution are the only Alola regional forms that keep the same weight and height of the original Kanto forms. Technically Alolan Meowth has this as well, but its evolved form Alolan Persian does change in weight and height slightly. During the beta of Pokemon Red and Blue, Dewgong was originally going to be named Manatee, a direct play word on the animal manatee, which is a real marine mammal. In competitive gaming, Cloyster is famous for its skill link ability, which allows it to hit 5 times each time it uses multi-hit moves, like Icicle Spear or Rock Blast. The Pokemon Sword Pokédex entry says Galarian Mr. Mime can manipulate temperatures to create a floor of ice, which this Pokemon can kick up to use as a barrier. Jinx holds the record for the longest cry in the original Pokemon Red and Blue, lasting for over 2 seconds, meanwhile most other cries only lasted for half a second. In the Johto games, you can find a wild Lapras in the deep basement of the Union Cave, but it only appears on Fridays. In the original Pokemon Red and Blue, if you look through the binoculars in the Fuchsia City Gatehouse, you can actually see an overworld sprite of Articuno flying towards the sea. Sneasel has the highest base speed of any Pokemon that is still capable of evolving. Many fans refer to Swinub's shiny form as a watermelon, because its brown stripes turn into a bright minty green, making it look like a watermelon fruit. If you look at Piloswine's 3D models or sprites, it appears his legs are never visible, just a mound of fur. However, in some games like Pokemon Stadium 2 and Pokemon Battle Revolution, it occasionally reveals hidden legs when it jumps or uses physical attacks. Delibird's national Pokédex number is 225, which is a reference to Christmas Day. Smoochum is one of the earliest evolving baby Pokemon, transforming into Jinx at just level 30. This is significantly earlier than other baby Pokemon like Magpie or Elekid. Snowy Castform, Frost Rotom and Snom all claim the title for the shortest Ice-type Pokemon in the series. All of them are exactly 1 foot tall. The evolution from Snowrun to Frostlass is based on the Yuki Onna, which means Snow Woman spirits, hinting that the Snowrun transforms into a ghost, as Yuki Onna are spirits. Galeli and Snowruns are the first Ice types in the national Pokédex that can evolve and don't gain a secondary typing. Spheel's evolution line and Dewgong are the only Ice-type Pokemon that can have the Tick Fed ability. This makes it double resistant to Ice-type moves, meaning it almost takes no damage from attacks like Blizzard. Shiny Celio swaps its blue fur for a bright purple-pink color, making it look like a giant grape or beet. The other Pokemon in this evolution line share the same colored shiny, and they also resemble grapes or beets. The evolution from Celio to Walrein has one of the biggest growth spurts in the series, almost doubling its weight. Now Pokemon like Gyarados and Snorlax have even bigger growth spurts, but the difference here is that Walrein is only 1 foot taller than Celio. Regice shares its official category name, the Iceberg Pokemon, with only one other species, and that's Avalugg. It also has the second highest special defense stat in the entire franchise, only beaten by the legendary Shuckle. Snover was the first Pokemon that had an ability that could summon a hill. It's also one of the rare first stage evolutions that can summon a hill from an ability when it joins the battle. Later on, Amora and Alolan Vulpix gained this ability as well. Abomasnow is known for its sport type combination and has 7 different weaknesses in total. But did you know it also had the most resistances out of any ice type Pokemon for a long time? It resists water, grass, electric and ground moves. But then, during the release of Gen 7, Alolan, Ninetales and Sandslash were released, which have way more resistances because of their steel and fairy typings. Weavile is one of the first generation 4 Pokemon ever revealed to the public, appearing in the 2005 movie Lucario, The Mystery of Mew, long before Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were released. Glaze means ice in French, and Eon is a playful word for evolution, which is of course shared across all evolutions. It looks like Mamoswine is wearing a blue mask. It's actually just a frozen patch of fur that never thaws. Jinx, Smoochum and Frostlass are the only Ice-type Pokemon that are 100% female. But out of all the Ghost-type Pokemon, only Frostlass can be 100% female. Rotom Wash has the least amount of weaknesses of any Ice-type Pokemon in the franchise, with only a 2x weakness to Fire, Fighting and Rock-type moves. Alolan Sandslash also has only 3 weaknesses, but it takes 4 4 times damage from fighting and fire type moves, and 2 times damage from ground types. Galarian Darumaka has a reverse evolution of its Unova counterform. The original Unova version is energetic, hot-headed and constantly active, but Galarian Darumaka is calm and quiet, lives in cold environments and likes to conserve its energy. Galarian Darmanitan has one of the strongest abilities in the entire franchise. It's called Guerrilla Tactics and basically functions as a built-in choice band. This Pokemon was so overpowered that it was banned from competitive play early on during the release date of Pokemon Sword and Shield. The Zen mode of Galarian Darmanitan is the only Fire and Ice dual type Pokemon in the franchise. The Vanillite evolution line are the only Ice type Pokemon that can learn the move Self-Destruct by leveling up, which makes you wonder why would the ice cream explode itself. Vanillish is the only second stage evolution Pokemon that is a solo Ice type and has 3 evolutions in total. Vanillux is currently the only Pokemon that evolves at exactly level 47. This is very late for a standard Pokemon, but a lot of Unova Pokemon share the same fate. In Pokemon Go, a special holiday Cupchew was released wearing a small ribbon. Beartic has a hidden ability called Swift Swim, and it doubles the Pokemon's speed in the rain, which is ironic because it's an Ice type that is benefiting from the rain instead of a hail or snowstorm. Cryogonal can learn Attract, despite being a genderless Pokemon. Now Staryu and Starmie were able to learn Attract in Gen 2 as well, but this got removed later in Generation 3, which means that it was a mistake by the developers. Yet Cryogonal still has this move 4 generations later. Kyurem has a total of 5 separate cries in the main Pokemon games, which is the most of any single Pokemon. The base Kyurem, Black Kyurem and White Kyurem have their own distinct cries, but both the Black and White Kyurem also have a longer cry. Mora and its evolved form are the only Pokemon that take 4 times damage from both steel and fighting types at the same time. Pokédex description for Pokemon X says, on the body of Aurorus, the diamond-shaped crystal on its body expel air as cold as minus 240 degrees Fahrenheit, which is extremely cold even for Ice-type standards. For reference, Regice is minus 328 degrees Fahrenheit across his entire body. Bergmite and its evolution are the only Ice-type Pokemon that have the sturdy ability, which protects them from one-hit KOs. Afurluk has currently the highest defense stat of any Ice-type, but it also has the lowest speed. Crabominable was the only Pokemon that can learn the signature move Ice Hammer, until the Pokemon Tinkaton was released in Generation 9. Alongside its pre-evolution, Mr. Rime is the only Pokemon that can have the Screen Cleaner ability. This instantly wipes away a defensive move like Reflect and Light Screen from both sides of the field the moment it enters battle. You would think Snom has the lowest weight of all Ice types, but it's actually Snowy Cast form. Snom is a little over 6 pounds heavier. Frostmoth and Snom are currently the only Pokemon that have a 4 times weakness to both fire and rock type moves. Ice-Q is 10 pounds heavier than the other penguin Pokemon and Polion. Funnily enough, the weight stays the same once the Ice-Q breaks and Ice-Q enters its other form, which is Pokemon logic at its finest. Arctozolt, Arctofish and other Galar fossil Pokemon are in the undiscovered egg group, meaning they cannot breed, not even with Ditto. Glastrier has a signature ability called Chilling Neigh, which boosts the attack after defeating an opponent. But here's the catch, the ability Moxie does the exact same thing. Calyrex Ice Rider is the heaviest Ice type, but it's only 20 pounds heavier than Glastrier, due to the added weight of the rider, Calyrex, which weighs 17 pounds, and finally the item Rines of Unity that binds these two Pokemon together adds the final 3 pounds. The move Ice Spinner can be learned by over 70 different Pokemon, yet Cetoddle and Cetitan are the only Pokemon that learn this move by leveling up. Despite being 3 times smaller than its whale friend, Wailord, Cetitan is way heavier. Cetitan is almost double the weight, with a massive 600 pound difference between these two Pokemon. This is because Wailord is known as the floating whale that essentially acts like a living blimp, which is why Cetitan is way heavier. Iron Bundle has the highest speed stat of all Paradox and Ice-type Pokemon at the same time. Fire types are considered the strongest types against Ice Pokemon. This is because they deal 4 times damage to a good amount of them. However, Frigibax and its evolution line are the strongest counter against Fire type Pokemon. This is because of their signature ability Thermal Exchange, which raises the attack when it's hit by a fire move. Arctibax is the shortest and lightest second stage Ice type Pokemon. And yes, even Vanillish is heavier than Arctibax, which is kind of surprising. There are only 4 Ice type Pokemon that have a full 3-stage evolution line, but it's still interesting the pseudo-legendary Pokemon is at the bottom here. Excalibur has the highest HP and attack base stat out of all the fully evolved pseudo-legendary Pokemon. Respectively, it also has the lowest special attack base stat out of all the fully evolved pseudo-legendary Pokemon. A special event in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet featured a shiny Xin-Pao in 5-star Terra Raid battles. This was during August 4th and August 17th of 2025. It was not directly catchable in these raids, but the community could work together to unlock a free shiny Xin-Pao via a mystery gift, by achieving over 1 million total player victories. I hope you enjoyed this fun facts video. Now, I didn't include any Mecha Evolution Pokemon, because I will make a separate video for that if you guys are interested. Also, if you have any fun facts you want to share about these Pokemon, put them down in the comments and I'll react to them. Thanks for watching until the end, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.